sorry guys, I'm having such technical difficulties today. Like, craziness. Alright, so if you're new to the channel, we're going to cover S&P 500, we're going to cover Bitcoin, we're going to cover Tesla today, and then we'll have some questions and answers. This is a subscribers only, so you must be a subscriber to ask questions. And it's a regularly scheduled time. We do 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. every Wednesday and every Sunday. That's Eastern time. As many questions as you like, subscribers only. Hey, Motor Geek. Hey, Avila. Hey, Rad. Avila, what updates? Do you mean the ones that I'm about to get into? Or are you speaking about something specific? Alright, let's get into SPY. So I was expecting us to play around with resistance up here. I mean, sort of, it did kind of happen. It just happened way earlier than expected. It really took place here on the 22nd towards the end of the day. And then what we find ourselves in, this is probably more like Queen of Cups energy. Well, we do have strife here at the end of the day, but we also had strife earlier too, didn't we? Do we have strife earlier, or is it later? Let's see. Later. Alright, well, so this is that resistance that we rally into here. And then there should be a decline here. Especially since we didn't see lows at the end of the day. And we had that full card energy at the high as well, which makes a lot of sense. So in essence, I think we're probably kind of like in between strife and Queen of Cups energy. So this could be like part of the sideways S formation within a channel, right? We have a decline from resistance. We return back to, we hit support, reverse go back to resistance. And if that's the case, then we have a little bit higher to go. And we should probably see that tomorrow where we revisit a crest in the morning. And then another sharp decline into probably lows at the end of the day. Be careful though, highs and lows look like they're within close time proximity to each other. However, we do have a nullified high, so that's kind of like a wild card if that's going to happen or not. Hey Baz. Alright, so let's take a look at Bitcoin real quick, see how we're doing there. Looks like we're pretty much nailing this. So if you've been following along, then you saw that I drew this days and days and days ago. Depending on what ellipse we're talking about, it was like weeks ago. But basically indicated that we were gonna have a reversal here, and this is where you would close. You would take profits here on the long side, which hopefully many people did. You either did it here or you did it here. So you either left a little on the table here, which is fine. People who make money consistently normally leave money on the table, and then if you didn't, then you would exit it here. Either way, you should be in a short position. I drew all of this purple line in the same day, and I think it was probably like when we were here. It was probably like the 15th, something 15th or the 16th, probably the 15th. This seems to be coming to fruition quite well. I expected a little bit more of a move to the upside on the 22nd. Yeah, it's quite concerning because the overall theme card, guys, you have to remember the overall theme card is the card that it's usually the most informative card. Occasionally, it's not helpful, but that will happen in the system. Occasionally, the rule won't apply, but for the most part, the theme card is going to inform you the remainder of the reading, how to read the other cards. And what I mean by that is the theme card being the failure card or decline through multiple support levels. Really, it's improbable that we end higher than where we started the month. And remember what we were saying at the beginning of the month, most likely this is the buy opportunity here on the 30th. Yeah, so likely more decline tomorrow. Yeah, more decline tomorrow. Yikes. And also, this is an extremely bearish indication as well, guys. You have to keep in mind, whenever you see the Princess of Wands in low significator correlation position, it's indicating that you'll see the low more than once. Usually what it's meaning is that you're going to see consecutively lower lows, so the rallies out of the lows will offer opportunity to open up shorts before you go lower, if that makes sense. Hey AV. Hey Sicko. Hey, it was luck. The transcript for tomorrow says the day low is between 10 and 12 for S&P. Well, we probably see the low more than once. It's going to be kind of like price swingy. But you want to be mindful the high correlator is nullified. There's a high and a low signification. So I started nullifying the significators if they don't have correlations to the timeline cards. Not necessarily if they have correlations to other significators. So this is a case of that. That's kind of like an updated way to do SO Meta, one of the newer updates. Hey, breathe. So we'll probably see it there. But we've probably finished the day near lows or just off like just off of lows maybe in the last hour. So there's going to be more than one low here. Just be mindful of that. It's probably pretty price swingy, especially with a unicursal and a star card in the low significator position. Probably pretty price swingy stuff going on. Yeah, well, my stomach's is still a little kind of weird. It was luck, but I'm alright, and Hermes is doing fine. You know what? I probably was empathically getting Hermes' stomach problems. I believe it. Hey, Breathe. Hey, Sharp Killer. Is it still a good idea to put a short in Bitcoin at 6,700? I mean, it's a little risky because sometimes my ellipses are like the moves up and down aren't quite as high or as low as I expect them to be. Let's see if I can show you an example of that. I might not be able to find one on this chart because I was pretty darn good with this chart. Let's see. Actually, matter of fact, here there was one. Out of all of these ellipses, matter of fact, there's two. Out of all of these ellipses, there's two. Right, like here, I was expecting an entry, but we didn't come in low enough. Here, I was expecting an entry for a short. We didn't come in quite high enough. So you want to be mindful of that. And the bigger the ellipse, the more wiggle room you have to give it, because the bigger the ellipse, it's on a greater. I drew it on a greater time frame scale. So like on a 1 year chart scale, that's where these big ellipses come into play. I mean, you could probably do it, but it's risky. I mean, you could probably still do it. We're not far from where we were, from where entry was. So if you didn't get into the short for Bitcoin, I would say probably put in like 25% of a position here. I'm so sorry, guys. My stomach. Anyhow, you could put in like 25% of a position here if you wanted to chase the decline. You probably still got some time. Why I say it's risky is because when you look at the 1 year, we end up going higher. So remember, it's called short for a reason. You don't want to stay in it for a long period of time. You might even be able to close out of shorts tomorrow at the end of the day. It's a possibility. But more likely, what you'll want to do is you'll want to close out of shorts here on the 30th. Or the 20. This is a cash out stone. We've got the Princess of Discs correlation here on the 20. I don't know why this won't get bigger for me. Here we go. On the 28th. So there's a couple places where you might be able to exit. I'd say you could get into one partial like here, and then if we end up going higher, let's say on if we end up going higher, let's say on the 25th or the 26th, it's unlikely, really is, but those are the only probable places where that really might happen in the next couple of days. I would say that's where you'd hop into more of one. But I think probably we're just going to go lower here, guys, you know? All right, let's take a look at Tesla, and then I'll get back to everybody's questions. All right, well, pretty solid as far as this expectation of a decline increasing with momentum throughout the day today. We'll probably have a bit of a move back to the upside with like a crest that forms early in the day tomorrow. Let's look at the daily and see what happens there. All right, well, that's pretty solid. We have this big move to the upside, standing out on the one-day chart, out of a low here at the end of the day. Pretty big. That's a really good example of an adjustment card move. Yeah, so this is probably wrong. This is probably to the upside here. If you got into a long position here in the midst of this decline, probably close it here at the end of the day or at the beginning of the day in the midst of this move to the upside. If we do open lower, then there's going to be a notable rally and you end up to the upside in that first half hour. Either way, that's where you close out of a long. Could open up a short there. We're gonna look at that closer tomorrow. There's some pretty good trade opportunities there tomorrow. We're gonna look at in more depth, follow along tomorrow during the day, because depending on what happens in the morning, we're gonna see a resistance level that will decline from, return to at least once, probably twice throughout the day. But whatever this move is, it's likely going to be like fully retraced. This move here is the earnings move. It's likely going to be fully retraced, right? So we have this peak here at the end, at the beginning of the day on the 24th, and then we should like have a retracement back down. Price swings on the 25th with another peak maybe at the end of the day. It's possible, but we're going to look at that in more detail tomorrow. If you're new, guys, I didn't skip you. I just got to do the members first, because they're paying for priority answers here. Boeing and Google. Huh. This is gonna get really price swingy, guys. But there's a chance that we have a lower price at the end of the day tomorrow. Not really much to the update as far as the chart is concerned right now, AV. I update it when I see stuff to update. Alright, Boeing and Google. Yeah, so today looks like would have been an entry day. Right here at the end of the month of October, we've got this move higher. It's like a new high after making lows. That's what the abundance card often is, right? But to move higher through resistance, you stay above it briefly, break back down through it shortly thereafter. And then I think whatever this decline is that takes place here, we end up with, at the very end of the month with this big move to the upside, taking us into highs probably in early November. Yeah, so matter of fact, there's probably a good opportunity on Friday to enter into a long. So I'm going to adjust this expectation a little bit. That's the 25th. So if we do end up within this ellipse, remember what you want to do is you want to enter into this unless I specify otherwise at that time. I may not alert you, but if you're following this chart and we enter into it, follow the instructions in the ellipse. Reason being, guys, is I cover so many tickers, it would be impossible for me to like alert you to every single ticker at all times, you know? So that's why we do these live updated trading view charts, which you have access to if you have one of our subscriptions. We're also planning to do some other things for the subscriptions, like a calendar with expected trade dates and things like that, highs and lows. What's wrong with the volume? Why doesn't the vendor, that doesn't make any sense. Why doesn't the vendor provide volume information? We were looking at, that must have been the wrong chart. That's weird. I don't know how that happened, but in any case, so here we are. Yeah, so there was a rally early today offering opportunity to open up a short position before this big move to the downside. There's looks like probably a cash out opportunity for a short position tomorrow in the morning or midday. There's also likely a move higher through resistance or stay above it briefly, break back down through it shortly thereafter with the full retracement. And then we've got there is possibility of a highest high there. There is possibility of it, but you know, it's a little wild back and forth. That's what you get a lot of the time with this fortune card. It's not like a major reversal on a 1 year chart scale when it's a theme card on a monthly. Often it'll be like a lot of reversals, not just one, and you can see we have like reversals back and forth going on here. XRP. I'm going to cap the questions here, my friends. I apologize if I don't get to your question. Well, this definitely looks like it's coming to fruition. So out of this decline, that's a little tricky, but we had this failed attempt at resistance decline from the 22nd, continued into the 23rd, but then you have that sun card move, which started out of the decline there. Yikes. Okay. If you're just hopping on, we're looking at XRP right now. Updating the chart there for that as well, because it does look like there's some info coming to me for this. And if you're new to the channel, you get the links to these live updated trading view charts through our Discord channel, part of our monthly access subscription or early access subscription or a total access subscription, depends on which one you got. But in any case, let me finish off what I was doing here. All right, so there's that, and then do we want to use it as an entry for long is the question I'm looking into right now. Yeah, it does. It looks like we want to use that as an entry for a long. It's also a cash out for a short based on the stone here. All right, so that's XRP, but it's looking pretty solid, the 1 month reading. Theta. Theta, XRP, Google, these are all tickers that are covered by our monthly access subscription, meaning that if you have access to that subscription, you've got access to the paid version of all of the videos for those tickers as well as more. You've got access to the live Discord trade alerts and the live updated trading view charts. All of that stuff are like game changers for trades. I'm sure anybody who's using those services agrees. What am I looking for? Theta, right? Okay. What the heck? Why is it on SPY? That's so weird. That's frustrating. We just missed tapping that range there, but I still think we go higher. So there should be a halting here of a bullish trend, sideways rotation, some sort of fake out taking place tomorrow, and then a pretty big move to the upside taking place on the 26th, reaching for distant resistance. Interesting. Very different from XRP and Bitcoin. But as far as lowest lows, I'm pretty confident we've seen the lowest lows for the month. Even there around the 27th, 29th, if we do see lows, they'll be the same lows. But I don't think they're going to be quite as low as what we've already seen. We're much more likely to see new highs here at the end of the month. So I think this is probably still on the table. Well, I'll have a much better idea on the 26th if this is still on the table. On some days, the correlation of S&P 500 and Bitcoin is almost 100%. For example, today, I think sometimes the movement of Bitcoin for tomorrow can be understood from the movement of. Well, I mean, that's the thing about SOMETA, is like, there's all these different ways that you could what you could base your expectations off of all these different correlations and all of these like regularities and these cycles and these things that make a lot of sense. But SOMETA analysis for the most part is going to tell you the truth without all of that expectative nonsense, almost, if you will call it that. It doesn't, like, it's like, what I'm getting at is, like, sometimes people will ask a question. They'll be like, hey, what's the results of the earnings for whatever ticker? And what they really want to know is what's the chart reaction going to be in response to the earnings report, right? But they're not asking that question. They're asking what's the result of the earnings, because they're saying whatever the result of the earnings is going to tell me what to expect from the movement of the chart. But that's not necessarily the same thing. So be careful with those. Like, that makes a lot of sense, probably kind of, correlations to other things. It can be helpful, especially when, like, you have information from SOMETA and then there's these other things that are like backing it. It's a good way to help confirm it, but be mindful of that. SOMETA is always going to see past all of these, like, logical if then cause and effect type of deductions, because SOMETA works outside of time, i.e. it works outside of causality. That's something I'll speak a lot more about in something I'll speak a lot more about in the Investor Profit University coming 2025. You can always message us on the site if you're interested in finding out more about that. Enrollment is currently open, although we don't have too much information for you just yet. Boeing daily stock direction for tomorrow and Friday. Guys, we've got some pretty cool deals coming out for Black Friday. I'm just mentioning it now because we had a meeting about it yesterday with some pretty dope deals coming out. And also, if you're one of our if you're in our top 10, our top 10 most loyal customers, or our top 10 highest paying customers, then you're gonna get a cool email relatively soon with a personalized special offer just for you. Something as a thank you for the holiday. Where did my Boeing chart go? Oh, here we go. It actually looks pretty mixed, but overall probably to the upside. It's pretty mixed though the next 2 days, Vaz, for Boeing. All right, guys, with that said, I'm going to roll. Just a reminder, we got that special offer. It's the 1 month of consecutive daily stock readings by the hour. Basically what we did for Tesla this month, these by the hour readings where you can get into day trades. It's what we do every month for S&P by the day. You can order that. It's normally $2,500. It's our premium custom order, but it's on sale right now. Special offer, first come, first serve, one time only, one person only. $1,500 for January dailies. If you're interested in that, let me know. Clock is ticking on January, guys. The end of the month is the deadline on January readings, so let me know. And much love and appreciation. Blessings to all my angel investors. Guys, if you're making money, please remember to follow through on that rule of karma. There's definitely people following through on that, but there's definitely people not. And believe me, I know who you are. So let's make sure you follow through before you become one of those people that we, no longer going to want to support because they're no longer supporting us, if that makes sense. It doesn't happen often, but it does. All right, blessings to all my angel investors. Much love and appreciation. Next live scheduled stream is tomorrow, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Eastern Time. I will see you guys there. Later.